Fijian Cavendish bananas to the Coffs Harbour region. And by the early 1900s, banana growing became an infant Australian industry. Bananas are harvested all year round and are harvested while green. They're then ripened in controlled conditions to ensure they're at the correct stage of ripeness by the time they go on sale in your greengrocer or supermarket. The banana plant is a herb, not a tree. It has no wood. The trunk is actually the stalks of the leaves, and as the leaves grow, they become tightly wrapped in a bundle. Each plant bears only one bunch of fruit. After harvesting, the plant is cut down and all of its young suckers are removed except one, which will grow and fruit within a year. The sucker that is not removed is the one on the uphill side of the plant. The root structure of the parent plant is left on the slope below the sucker to support it. This process is repeated after each harvest, which means the plant actually walks up the hill. It may never make it to the top, but it does move some 25 centimetres a year. Bananas are planted on the hillsides in Coffs Harbour because the hills are there, but generally speaking, banana plants need to be protected from wind and get as much sunlight as possible. Bananas also need a good quantity of rain and well-drained soil, which the Coffs Coast provides.
What's up, Coffee?
In parts of India, food is served on banana leaves, which are considered to be more hygienic than china, crockery or pottery plates that are washed with other soiled utensils. After each meal, the leaf plates are discarded. They degrade rapidly and become mulch to feed the next crop of bananas. The leaves of some banana varieties contain useful fibres, and people living in many tropical countries use the leaves of these plants to build roofs for houses and make baskets, bags, and mats. To the people of North Behar in India, the annual Hindu festival of Chhath is the holiest of their festivals. It involves 4 days of worship to the sun god and a strict fasting regime. Rice, puris, and bananas are eaten to break their fast. In Cambodia, small hands of bananas and flowers are placed before spirit houses as offerings to appease the spirits. The forbidden fruit eaten by Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden is not named in the Bible, but artistic depictions of the story over the years have persuaded us that it was an apple. Many believe that it was, in fact, a banana, and so the debate continues. In the 1930s, Italian migrants started arriving on the Coffs Coast. They cleared vast tracts of hillside land by hand, tilled it with horse and plough, and planted the delicious Cavendish bananas. It was hard work in those early days, not only having to work on the side of a steep hill, but in addition there was little mechanisation available then, and certainly no mechanical vehicles that could climb or traverse Coffs Harbour's hilly plantations. The Italian plantation owners made yokes for their shoulders, which meant they could carry a bunch of bananas on either side of their bodies. Each load weighed more than 100 kilograms, and they carried several loads each day. They also devised the horse-drawn slide, a sort of trailer with timber runners instead of wheels. By the 1950s, most of the Coffs Harbour bananas were being produced by Italians. In the 1880s, Punjabi Sikhs from India began arriving in Australia to find work. Most were from the farming areas of the Punjab, and they sought work as rural labourers in this country. After a year or two, when they thought they'd made enough money to be successful in the Punjab, they returned home. Many came back to Australia, many more settled here with their families. Roughly a decade after the Italians settled banana plantations in Coffs Harbour, The first Sikh settlers arrived in Woolgoolga on the Coffs Coast. Initially, they worked as labourers on banana plantations, and a little later acquired their own leasehold and freehold plantations. During the 1950s, the Coffs Coast banana output was almost totally in the hands of the Italians and the Punjabi Sikhs. Today, more than 95% of Woolgoolga's banana industry and 10% of Coffs Harbour's is owned and operated by Australian Sikhs. However, only a handful of Italian-owned plantations survive. The second generation of Italian banana growers either moved to the Queensland industry or simply chose another career. Attractive residential and tourism development on the Coffs Coast over the past few decades have replaced many banana plantations. They have helped transform the region into the most pleasant and most popular destination on the New South Wales North Coast. But at the very heart of the successful development of Coffs Harbour is the great contribution made by its banana industry. Today, more than 80% of Australia's banana output is grown in far north Queensland, where the tropical climate produces bigger fruit in far less time than anywhere else in Australia. However, the Coffs Coast is subtropical, and because its bananas grow slowly, the sugar content has a chance to build, which results in sweeter fruit. The Big Banana will continue to produce bananas, and is dedicated to keeping a semblance of the banana culture and history alive here in Coffs Harbour. The banana plant plays an important role in eco-balancing. Its big, broad leaves soak up carbon from the air, and they exhale purified oxygen into the environment. As a result, it's thought that people who live alongside banana plants in areas such as the Coffs Coast enjoy better health and longer lives than those living elsewhere. Then again, just living in the most beautiful and most popular destination on the New South Wales North Coast could be the single answer to good health and longevity. Would you please exit this theatre through the automatic door to your right?
That's right.
You're going to